All right, hey everybody, Conscious of Economics and Urban Farm Project. And let me just make sure everything's rolling. Okay. So, wow, I was listening to some, let me kind of go down here. I was listening to some information today that, let's just say, didn't really make me very happy. Because we know that the collapse is going to be, pretty crazy. But I think a lot of it, they were saying that, more people will know about more stuff coming up in the fall. And that, it's going to be quite a long battle, between, I don't know, forces and whatever. So I was thinking about this book I read, and Paulo Coelho is like one of my favorite authors. Most people know that he wrote a book called The Alchemist, which is like my least favorite book that he wrote. And I've read through all of his work. He's like, number one on my list for some stuff is fiction and some is fact. Some of it's about his own spiritual journey through his life, working on mastery. And anyway, so there's a book he has, it's called The Fifth Mountain. And I believe it's like the story of Elijah. I forget what the names, maybe, I don't know. But it's, what I do know is I remember the kind of the journey of the person. And so whenever I think like these times are hard, I think about these stories that are supposedly, from the past. So the story is basically that this normal guy, he's just normal. He's just a normal guy. He is a contractor. He makes furniture from wood, uh, and that's what he does. And one day he has these two, glowing beings, angels, come to him and say, well, hey, we need you to do us a favor. And he was like, well, I don't think I'm the right person for this job because, I build things. Yeah, that's it. And they said, no, you're it. We really need you to go deliver this message to Herod. And the message was basically like, God sent the angels for this guy to go and tell Herod something. So he finally, after a while, agrees, but I believe it's because of his sheer immaturity. Because this is the kind of stuff that happens, and I try to teach people that spiritually, even good beings have a tendency to use you. And we get involved in this because of our immaturity, right? So I think because of this man's maturity in this story, The Fifth Mountain, which is also a biblical story, but Paulo Coelho does it such justice, this story. All the ins and outs of it. So anyway, he ends up going to deliver this message, and so he went to go see King Herod, and I think there might have even been some trouble with him even getting in, but he just told the people, like, look, God, the angels came, and I have a message for Herod. And basically he tells Herod that God, has had enough of your crap, and that if you don't change directly, that God's going to take you out. And so he leaves, and he's thinking, oh, that's not too bad. And Herod took it pretty good. Well, then the next thing he knows is that Herod puts out an arrest warrant for him, and and is offering money for people to bring him in, so that they can murder him, kill him for, talking to Herod in the way that he, and, legitimately, this guy was probably pretty surprised, because he was immature. Thought, well, these golden beings want me to deliver a message, and, I'm on the side of God and whatever else. And then all hell breaks loose because of his immaturity and the decisions that, he made. So, anyway, he ends up having to flee. He has to leave his whole life, and he has to flee, and he's in the desert, and there's no water, there's no food, and so he starts, basically telling the universe, hey, I helped you. I went and did what you wanted me to do, and now I'm out here. I have nothing to drink. I have nothing to eat. I have no clothes. I have nothing. I have no house. I have no place to go. Don't know where to go. And so they send a raven. First, a spring pops up in the ground that he can drink from. And then they start having like a raven killing food for him and bringing it to him. Obviously, has no place to cook it. It's on fire. And so anyway, that kind of goes on for quite a while. I mean, like a long time. I'm thinking like months, like 6 months. So finally, he decides that, he's going to be led to, um, you know, leave and, walk to like the next town, or, find a place to go. Well, he finds a place to go, and it ends up having like military occupation on the outskirts. But he goes there, and he kind of basically assumes a kind of a different identity, and he is always kind of starts helping people, and eventually he gets on his feet, and things are going good for him. And but then he decides, then he ends up getting like a wife, and they have a child, or she already comes with a child, and he's like super happy. And then the occupation starts to control the city and terrify people, starving them out, shutting off the water, and he becomes kind of a champion for their town. And the military people, they don't like it, so they burnt his house down, killing his children, his child and his wife, and again destroying everything that he owns. So now he's like living in this tent that's on this burnt property. And this is like, in tarot cards and other esoteric places, they show him wrestling with an angel for 3 days. So this is where that 3 days and gnash your teeth and battle. And he, in the way that the story is designed, that he actually physically, the angel wanted him to continue to go do what the angel wanted him to do. And he was like, absolutely not. Because every time that I step out, these people destroy my life. And you are not helping me, right? You're allowing it to happen. So why would I continue to carry out your bidding? Like I have zero interest. So that he actually physically wrestles this angel in his tent. Like the angel's just trying to kick his ass, trying to get him into compliance. And he stands his ground and fights this angel off. Takes 3 days. But then he's kind of released to his own will. And, obviously he's at a point where he's lost faith in everything. And then all this other stuff happens. Like the guy just never really gets off. And then finally there's a point where, and this is the other part that really is disturbing about the reward. Like we have to go through all this punishment, to be able to enter the kingdom of heaven, which, who the hell knows what that is. I think it's an extraterrestrial mothership, by the way. But you have to go through all of this stuff to get like this prize at the end. And at the end of the story, he ends up, I forget, it's like, I don't know if it was Jesus or and somebody else. There's two beings supposedly that come in a golden chariot to pick him up. I mean, those are UFOs, people. Hello. Because his life was like so rough, and when he was exiting his life, they just took him and his whole body and took him away. Um, but it really wasn't that big of a reward. It wasn't that really a great of a reward. But when you have one person, 10 people fighting a million bad people, that's where the problem lies. That's the story of this person in the fifth mountain. So today I was just thinking a lot about how everybody has to do their part. You have to get out of fear, and you have to figure out where you can stand up and be accounted so that we can kind of move this paradigm around a little faster. And so that's all I kind of had to say today, was that if, we want a new paradigm, that means that you're going to have to get your boots on and get on the ground and really start doing your part. Because, I think with gas pumps being empty in Washington State, it looks like they're setting up for a double-digit gallon. As soon as the new gas comes in, what are you going to do? You're going to keep on sucking it up, stick your head in the sand, because you're going to make it a lot easier on the few who are fighting for you. And wait, your reality and your life as you know it is over. I know so many people that are just spending all this time and energy trying to get their life back that they had when things were good. And obviously you would just repeat the same cycle, right? So you have a house and you have a life and you have money and you're vacationing, everything. So you finally work it out, you get that life again. That's not the life you were meant to have. Otherwise you would still be having it. And so that's why that part of your life was taken out. So then you bust your ass, you work or whatever else, and you get that life back. You got a house, you're going on vacation. It's only a matter of time before that's gone, because it's just going to repeat itself. So it's kind of time to step out and think about, what would you like to have as a new life? Because first, sometimes you got to think about it to make it. And, some of it's going to be, some of you in your hearts, it's like divorce, getting a divorce. Some people in your hearts, it's like needing some space, getting rid of everything I have and living in a van. Some of you new life might be going back to school, getting a new job. Some of you might be, move to an ashram and meditate. And then you've got to find the bridge, between those. And right now, we're all on the battlefield. And so when one of us gets that quality life, and the rest of us will start getting it. 100 monkey arrangement that we have here. So anyway, that's all I've got. Just what was on my mind. And, if people are interested in, I have some free Zoom meetings I have coming up that are going to be talking about different things. and, you know, what you can do or things to think about, let me know. And if you want to have a session, I charge for those. You can go to my website and you can see where all the fees are. So, all right. And if you can't afford my fees, then let me know and I'll be able to hook you up, right? We'll do a pay scale adjustment. All right, everybody. Talk to you later. Have a great day.